So yeah, let me explain. Myself, Panduranga, in a total of 7 years experience in the IT industry. So I worked on ETL tools like Oracle Data Integrator, Talent, and the reporting tool like OBIEE and Power BI. Okay. So majorly my contribution is in the project is always into ETL only. So Talent is one of ETL tool. So ETL is like extract, transform, and load. Everyone knows. So share my screen. Is my screen visible? Vishal, is my screen visible?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Yeah. Okay. So So as I told, ETL is nothing but extract, transform, and load. So what is meant by extract, what is meant by transform, and what is meant by load? So we'll be knowing in detail everything. Okay. So here, if you observe, we'll be having so many different kinds of businesses running in world now, right? So we have a social media and we have some other web related applications will be there. Okay, and then we will be having some unstructured data in the form of Excels and PDF and in CSV files formats. Okay, JSON and so other formats will be there. And along with that, we'll be having data of a bank related applications, education related applications, healthcare. If like this, so many domains are there. So related to them, we'll be having so many different applications. So for all those applications to work means, so in front end we need one coding language, okay, and on the some UI languages, UI coding should be done, and again on the back end we should need the data whatever we provide right in the applications, whatever the data we provide in the applications that needs to be stored somewhere, and we need to access that. So for accessing that in a kind of a different terminology we can call as extract. So if we need to access the data means we need to extract the data from the different sources. Okay, and then we can place in some staging area where we'll apply some transformations. So like first of all, immediately when we are when we are gathering data, when we are gathering data from different databases, we need to uh, organize the data. So for organizing the data, we may need to follow some process. Like we need to cleanse the data first. As per the business requirement, we need to cleanse the data first, and then we need to apply some calculations or the transformations as per the business requirement. And after that, applying the transformations and everything in the staging area, we need to load the data into the data warehouse. So data warehouse is the place where people or users can access the data. Okay, so in this process, so the we'll be coming into picture the so many scenarios like will different concepts like OLTPs we'll call as online transactional processing systems. So that means uh, online transactional processing system means like for example if we are having if we take one bank as example, so it will be having so many different uh, accounts will be there. So like one department can be called as account department and one can be called as loans. Like this we'll be having so many departments, credit cards, insurance, and HR will be there. For that, customers will be there, call centers will be there. Like that, so many different accounts will be there. Okay, so all these people will be using different some in some cases they might use different databases, like some will be like SQL databases and some will be no SQL databases. So SQL databases will be like those all will be called as relational databases, so where the data will be organized in some format, so in the form of metadata. So and in that metadata we'll store the actual data. Okay, so let me explain each and everything in detail. So for time being, just try to remember the terminology. Okay. So when coming to ETL process, so this concept it became popular in 1970s. Okay. And without having that ETL concepts, we cannot migrate data from one database to the other database. Okay. Uh, So yeah, in ETL we'll be following different processes. Like first we need to, as I told earlier, first we need to map the source system and the staging or the final target system. Okay, and then we need to cleanse the data. Okay, in the staging area we'll do all this process, and then we'll be transforming the data into the final target system. Okay, and then that will be used by the end users. Okay, and before learning ETL tool we should be aware of some terminologies we should understand. So we'll be having, as I told, we'll be having different source systems, right? So all types of business related data will be stored here, like SQL databases, no SQL databases, files will be of different kinds, like CSV, Excel, JSON. Okay, like this we'll be having different kinds of files. All this data will be stored. And as I told earlier, applications will be there. So different kinds of applications, like retail applications. We'll be seeing the supermarket. The best example is supermarkets. And then banking applications we are seeing. Okay, where they will be having different kinds of bank applications, insurance applications, and the loans and credit cards. Everything will be. If you want to see all the details of our bank account, or if you want to see the details of our loans and how much we are spending on the credit cards and all those, and what kind of insurance we need to take, so all this will be available in the banking applications or the insurance application sites. Okay, similarly automobile sales data will be there, and sales data will be there. Okay, so all these are different kinds of applications. Okay, and the famous thing is like e-commerce will be using nowadays, Flipkart, Amazon, and all those, right? So yeah, all these applications to, if we need to access all these applications on the back end, we should definitely have the database. Without having data, we cannot access the applications, right? So for the first time when we are trying to access an application, say for example a Gmail. So without creating the account in Gmail, we cannot access Gmail, right? So similarly, without having uh, an application or the data, without having a database we cannot access the application. Okay, so at any point of time if you have any doubts you can ask. Okay, so coming to the mapping, so it's a like mapping is like a, it will form a relation between the source and the target place where data will be migrated from source to the target. So we need to map. So for example, on the source side. So yeah, let me explain like this. Let me relate everything so that you can easily understand. Okay, like this we'll be having. So I'm taking a banking as example. Okay. So we'll be having accounts in that, and we'll be having loans department. Okay. And then we will be having credit card department. Insurance will be there. Okay. HR data will be there. Okay. Call center will be there. So these are different accounts we can see in the bank bank domain. Okay. So when coming here, so for example, I told we'll be having different kinds of databases in the market. So one database is from Oracle, okay, and the other is from the IBM DB2. We'll call as DB2. Okay, it is from the IBM. Okay, and then we'll be having the other database from the Microsoft, that will be SQL Server. Okay, and then we'll be having data in the form of the XML. Okay, and then in Excel format will be there, and then in CSV formats. These are some examples. Okay, so how we need to gather data from all these kind of, see, for example, though we have different accounts, if I'm the head of that company, so I want to know in each account what is going on. Okay, in each module what is going on, I want to know. So if I want to know at this point of time, I need to go to Oracle database to see the accounts information. Okay, so I need to go to the Oracle database to see the account information. And if I want to see the loans department related info, I need to go to the DB2. And similarly, if I want to go check the credit card related details, if I want to go to the SQL Server. Like this, for each and every department details, I want to go to the respective databases or the files. So it will be very hard. I cannot form a relation between either the accounts department or the call center department or the HR or the credit card departments. So though we have different departments here, they all will be having in common at least the ID, right? So an employee ID should be there, or if a customer is there, the customer details should be there. So a customer can have a savings account, and similarly, in the same account, bank customer can take a loan, and in the same bank he can have the credit card, insurance, and all those, right? So it will be it will not be looking good if we want to see as a customer. I cannot go to different applications for each account, right? So that I so what I prefer like I need one application to access all the details. So for that purpose only, we need to first, if on the front end, if we want to see data like that, first we need to organize the data into one database. Okay, again. Okay, so let me take all these Oracle details will be holding. Okay, and DB2. So all these can be loaded into a staging area. This we can call as a staging area. Okay. So after loading data into the staging area, first we'll do the transformations here. Okay, transformations is like, as I told earlier, so first we need to cleanse the data. So data will be here we are accessing data from different databases, right? So first we need to cleanse the data. And after that, as per the business requirement, we need to apply the transformations. So I'll tell you what the transformation means. So by using SQL or the SQL server, or some other languages are there. By using them, we'll be doing some transformations. Okay. And after completing all the transformations, we'll finally integrate the data into the data warehouse. This one we'll call as a data warehouse. Okay. So earlier here we have data in different databases. Now after applying all the transformations, we'll be having data in the single database. Okay. This is single database. Okay. So when coming to here, sorry. Yeah. So as I told earlier, this one will be called as OLTP, Online Transactional Processing System. Okay. And here, so, and yeah, before to that, let me show you here what is meant by extract. So here we are doing extract. Okay. And here we are applying transformations. And here finally we are loading data into our data warehouse. Okay, load or integrate we can call as, we are integrating finally the data into the data warehouse. Okay, so this is meant by ETL. Now I think you got some clarity, right? What is about ETL? Okay, Vishwa, sorry, Vishal. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so you're getting right the flow.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is about the ETL. So in the ETL process, we'll be having OLTP systems, okay, and then OLAP systems. We'll call these as OLAP, OLAP systems. Okay. So let me tell you what is meant by OLTP. OLTP means Online Transactional Processing Systems. Okay. So that means where the actual transactions take place. Okay. So our actual transactions are happening in the database Oracle, DB2, SQL Server, XML, Excel, CSV. These all are OLTP systems we can call as. And here one thing to remember is whatever the database we'll be having for the OLTP and for the OLAP, all will be same only. Finally, the data warehouse also will be either the Oracle company related database, sorry, Oracle company related data warehouse, or the DB2 data warehouse, or it might be the SQL Server data warehouse. Okay, but it cannot be in the form of XML or Excel or CSV. These are files. Okay, uh, no one will store data in form of files after doing all the transformations. Okay, in some rare cases we'll be storing them, but we'll learn that how to load the data and all those. Okay, so like, yeah, all the OLTP and OLAP systems all will be database only. This is one database accounts, this is one database, this is one database, this is one database. And each database might reside in different locations. So for example, accounts might be there in the US, and loans might be there in the UK, and the credit cards related database might be in the India. And similarly, insurance related will be there in XML formats. So it might be anywhere. So HR data will be there in the Excel format, and it is in some other locations. So like this, we have all these databases in different locations. So the help of with the help of some network, we can move that all the different database information into one staging area. Okay, where we'll apply transformations, and then will finally load into the data warehouse. This is only one database. Okay. So OLTP means, so for example, if I am going to some ATM and withdrawing the money, okay, so that details like how much amount I have drawn, at what time I have drawn, okay, uh, ATM, for each ATM will be having some address. So those address details and the uh, customer details, who has drawn the amount, from which account he has drawn the amount, all these details will be in the OLTP system. Okay, online transactional processing system. Okay, so all these informations, like these are actually my account details. My account details are there in the Oracle database. After that, my transactional related data will be there in the other database. So these two will be clubbed in the staging area. Like, so the data from this table and data from this table we need to access means we need to have some relation between them, right? So commonly we can call as the ID. Some ID should be there. For example, so if you are in college, you will be having some ID, right? So student ID will be there. So you will be identifying by that ID only. Each student will be having a different ID, right? Unique ID. It will be unique. So your ID will not be there for others, and others' ID will not be there for you. Like that for each department, like ECE, CSE, electronics, like for each department, we'll be having a different code, and as per that, we'll be identifying, right? Similarly, here also we'll be having some different IDs. For example, for each account holder, we'll be having one account number. So based on that account number, we can easily access our account, and your account number will not be there for others. So for example, in this table, you will be having account number, and in the transactional table, so where we are doing the transactions, so that we're in that table also we'll be having the account number. So by joining these two account numbers, we can have the relation on the, we can get other details like, so for example, in table one, I might have the account number, okay, and account name, okay, and location of that account. Okay. Similarly, in table two, okay, here I will be having account number, same same account number will be there, okay, and transactional details will be there. Okay, so for the in this account number, so for this person, he is having a deposit of, say, assume 50K. So in that 50K, I have withdrawn 25,000 rupees. Okay. So remaining balance is 25,000. So if I need to check, so from whose account the amount has been withdrawn. So the relation will be like, yeah. So we'll be checking based on the account number. So in final table, table three, if I want to see, this is our final table, final target. Okay. So in this table, if I want to see the details, I need account number, okay, and the account name, okay, and what are the transactional details of that person. Okay, I want to see like this. Okay. So, but how can I get these details? I need account number, okay, from either of the tables, and I need account name only from table one, okay, and I need transactional details from table two, okay. This is nothing but SQL concept again, okay. So we need to join based on the account number. So you are aware of SQL, right, Vishal?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I think you can easily understand then what I am trying to tell. So so we'll be joining based on the account number. Okay. And after that, we'll be fetching account name from the table one and transactional details from the table three. Okay. So here we have data in different one. Here, for example, say you have data in Oracle database. Okay. And here say you might have example in the SQL server. Okay. So now these two we are joining in the staging. This is the staging part. Okay. And then yeah. And finally, after doing all the transformations, we this same data will be loaded into data warehouse. Okay, like this. This data will be loaded into data warehouse. Okay, so this is all in general about the ETL process, how it will be. So how we are extracting data from these databases and how we are applying the transformations and how we are finally integrating or loading the data into the data warehouse. So earlier we have so data table one is there in the Oracle database and table two is there in the SQL server. And finally, with the help of some joins, we are loading the data into the our data warehouse. So data after this data warehouse will be used by the end users or the reporting team. Okay. So we'll be after applying all the ETL transformations, we should see some the we should see data in form of reports, right? So finally, user wants to see the data in form of some report, some analysis will be done on that data, and reports will be created. Okay, that we'll be seeing. For example, nowadays we are seeing analysis for the COVID cases we have seen, right? So many. So for that, day by day, when the COVID cases are increasing, so they are creating some analysis. So like we see, right? For example, today we have 10,000 cases recorded, and day before yesterday some 20,000 cases recorded, like that. So we'll be seeing some graph, and in that they will show like on each day how many people affected and how many people got cured and all this. So in Arogya Setu app we are seeing, so like this. So on the front end there we are seeing report, means on the back end we are doing all this process. Okay. And so I told here data loading, right? So we'll be loading data into final data warehouse. Okay. That can be done in different ways. So that example is nothing but this one. Okay. Full load. Full load means today in our source, we might have 10 records. That 10 records will be pulling into target. Okay. And tomorrow some other two records will be added. I mean, two records in the sense like accounts. Today we have 10 account holders, and that 10 account holders data will be there in the data warehouse. And tomorrow we'll get to some two or three more accounts. The two or three more accounts related data will be loaded in this. So first day we are reading the entire data from this table. That will be called as the full load. Okay. And after that, as I told, we'll be getting only 2 to 3 records. Or here we already have 10 records yesterday. Today we got again some 3 records. So it should load only 3 records, right? What is the use of loading 10 records? We already have here 10 records, right? So 10 plus the new records 3, 13 records should be there here. Okay, that will be called as incremental load. That will be done in the incremental load. So appending the data means it's like, for example, so yesterday I told 10 records I have. Okay. So if I do any modification for the 10 records, so yesterday I have opened account with the name Vishal Raj. Okay. And by mistake spelling has been mistyped. Okay, so for that again we'll do the modifications. So here we already have the, sorry, here we already have the record Vishal Raj. Okay, Vishal Raj record is already here. Okay, and tomorrow I want to see only Vishal record. Okay, so the new record should not get added, right? So ideally here we have only one Vishal record, but here it is showing two. One is Vishal Raj and one is Vishal. Okay, which is wrong, right? What it should do, instead of having two records, it should maintain only one record. Okay, Vishal Raj should be there. Sorry, Vishal should be there and Vishal Raj should not be there. So this we'll call as the updating the data, updating the old record. Okay. So we already have the old record Vishal Raj and we need to update that instead of adding one more record. Adding one more record means it will be the appending. Okay. So updating means it will come as part of the incremental data load. Okay. Yesterday I have the same record and along with Vishal, today I got one more record, Ranga. Okay. So this record will be updated here. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, this record will get updated and Ranga will get added. Okay. So that is nothing. So I think you might be aware of this terminology also, right? Full load, incremental load, and appending the data. Okay. So you got it right, Vishal, what I'm telling?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So yeah. So it's like a interaction kind of session. So if you have any doubts or if you want to tell anything, you can tell in between. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So these are the different kind of loading strategies we'll call as. Okay, all these full load. So in a when we got any requirement, so generally we'll be getting requirements in the form of either through mail, okay, or in sometimes in the meeting discussions they will share the requirement, okay, or in sometimes we'll be getting the requirement in the kind of functional requirement documents. Okay, so you might be aware, right? Business requirement documents will be there, functional requirement documents will be there, all these documents will be there. So we need to go through the documents and we need to understand what the customer is, what the client is asking for. So after understanding those, we'll apply the required transformations and we'll load the data into a final data warehouse. So for loading the data, we'll be having different loading strategies. One might be the full load, and one might be the appending the data, and one might be the incremental. Appending incremental means if you update the old record and inserting the new records, that will be called as the incremental. Appending means only adding the records. For example, today we have 10 on the source side and on the target will be loading 10. And tomorrow we'll be having 10 more new records here. And that 10 will get appended here. So totally it will be 20 here. Okay. Like that. That is meant by appending. So it will not update anything. It will just add the data to the target from the source. Whatever the data we have in the source, that will be added to the target. That is nothing but appending. Okay. Full load means, for example, today we have 20 records. Tomorrow we'll be having 10 more records here. And that 10 will get appended here. So totally it will be 20 records. Fine. Okay. So we have so many different tools in that market, but why we need to learn only talent? Okay. So why means it's the open source tool. Okay. So none other ETL tools are open source. Talent is the only tool which is open source. That means we need not to buy any license for that. We can use freely. Okay. So for that purpose, most people are preferring Talent. and it has a good market now. Okay, so in the talent, first main thing we need to know is Open Studio. Let me open that. So here I have one already. So let it open. So that will be called as the Talent Open Studio. Okay, that is the place where we'll do all the transformations which I discussed earlier, either the full load or the incremental load or the appending of data, okay, or the transformations what we'll apply, everything we'll do in the Talent Open Studio. Okay, so as I told earlier, it is already trying to open. Okay, so what we need to know the basics before learning the talent. Okay, as I told, we'll be having different databases here in the market. So MySQL is there, SQL, PostgreSQL, Oracle, okay, TSQL, SQL Server, okay, IBM DB2, okay, Teradata. Like this, we'll be having so many databases, okay, and all these database, though sources might be it might be MS SQL or Oracle, okay, SQL Server or whatever it may be. So finally, again, we'll integrate into one final target. Okay, that might be of IBM or that might be of sorry, IBM means DB2, that might be of Oracle or that might be of the SQL Server. Only one thing. Okay, and so I think you already told you know SQL, right? So I let me tell in brief. So you are aware of all this, right? Data definition language, TML, DQL, TCL, DCL, all this. Hello. So some other new guy joined. So I see Manusha. Hi Manusha.
Hi.
Yeah. So you are aware of SQL, right?
Yes, yes, sir.
Vishal and Manusha. Okay. So there will be having different kind of uh, terminologies we can call as. So the data definition language, data manipulation language. So DRL or DQL will call as data retrieval language, transaction control, and data control language. So when we are coming to DDL, you might be knowing. So under DDL, create a table or creating a view or creating a materialized view, okay, or creating a sequence or creating a variable. All this will be called, all this will be coming under DDL, okay. And after creating the table or view or materialized view, if you want to alter anything, for example, I created account number, so its data type is of number, but later my client came and told to change the requirement, like they we might get some characters also in that, so we need to alter that. So for altering that column, we need alter command, okay. So we'll be altering the data type of that column by using the altering command. Either the data type we can alter, or after creating a table, if we want to add a new column, for that also we can use the alter command, okay. Like this, we'll be using alter command for different purposes. And similarly, drop will be there. So if you want to drop a sequence or if you want to drop a table, okay, for that purposes, if you want to remove from the database, then we can use the drop command, okay. Similarly, if you want to rename any metadata, either it might be a column name or it might be a table name, okay, or it might be a sequence name or it might be index, everything. So by using this rename, we can rename them. Okay. And similarly, by using this data manipulation language, hello, sorry, someone can go into mute.
Yeah.
Thank you. So yeah, again, similarly, as like is in DDL, in DML also we'll be having different commands like insert, update, delete, merge, truncate. So insert will be helpful for inserting data into the table. Okay. Similarly, update will be helpful for updating the data in that table. So if you want to update any record which is already available in that table, by using the update command, we'll be updating. Similarly, if you want to delete any, if you want to remove any record from the table, we'll be making use of the delete. So merge is like, this will be helpful for updating the data in the target. So if we have more than two tables, will the best option is to use the merge. What it will do, so based on the ID, for example, based on the account number, if that account number is already there in the target, okay, and by making use of some other two source tables, if you want to load that, then merge option will be helpful. So what we'll do by using merge, I'll simply tell you, like, okay, simply how will it, instead of here, yeah, okay. So yeah, so here I have table one, okay, and here I have table two, and finally I have target table here, table three. Okay, this is our target table. Okay, so as I told earlier, we'll be having account number here. Okay. And similarly, we'll be having account number here also. Okay. And here we'll be having account name. Okay. And here we'll be having the deposit amount. Okay. So I want to form a relation between these two tables. If I want to form relation between these two tables, our common column is account number. Okay, making use of that account number will be join table one and table two, and then finally loading all the details of account number, account name, and deposit. Okay, here will be loading. So today, sorry, someone can go in mute. Thank you. So here I have 1, 2, 3 accounts, and here I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 4 accounts I have here. Okay, I want to load data from these two tables. Only the, if I go for inner join, we'll be getting only 1, 2, 3 records here. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Inner join based on the account number I will do. So I'll be getting 1, 2, 3 here. Okay, tomorrow, after loading third record to this target table, so for the third record, account name yesterday is some Sanjay. Okay, Sanjay Raj. Okay. And after loading, that name got changed. It is, instead of typing Sanjay Rao, I have typed yesterday Sanjay Raj, that which is wrong. Okay, so that Sanjay Raj is already here, and I should update that to Sanjay Rao. So in that case, we can use merge. So what happens if I use merge? Similarly, I got one more record here. Okay, that is, let's say 6. Okay, and here 6 is there. Okay, so what happens? Two changes have been done on my source table. One is, instead of having Sanjay Raj, I have changed it to Sanjay Rao. Okay, and I one more new account got created. So tomorrow I should have Sanjay Rao. It should not have Sanjay Raj. So what it will do based on the account number, it will go and update the Sanjay Raj name here. That is third record, and we will be getting one more record, that is 6. Okay, in these places the merge will be helpful. Okay, merge at the same time will update the record and insert the records. Okay, that in other terminology we can call as incremental load. Okay, as part of incremental load. So if we want to do incremental load, we should have some key as a reference, some identifier as a reference. So here we can tell that, like, that identifier as, I'm opening the tool. Okay, so here we can tell like our identifier is account number. Okay, based on this key column, we'll be updating or inserting the records into the target table. Okay, this is a part of SQL concept. So if you are aware of SQL, you can easily understand all this. Okay, and after that, finally truncate. So truncate will be helpful. Yeah, truncate is like, if we have data in our table, so if you want that table to be empty, we can make use of the truncate. Okay, I think you might be aware of difference between delete and truncate. So after using delete, we need to use commit, else our data will not be deleted. Okay, but after using truncate, data will be removed from the table and no need to use any commit options. Okay, and so later, data retrieval language. So in that we'll be having only one command, select. So by using select, we can view the data from the table, that's all. Okay, and transaction control language. So most often in when we are working in real-time scenarios, mostly we work with the select one. Okay, these are delete, update, a merge, insert, will be using this very rarely. If you want to do any operation manually, in that cases only you'll be using these options. Okay, DML options or the DDL options. Once in a while in a project at the starting phase, we will be using all these DDL concepts. Later, we will not use much. Okay, so mostly we'll be working on the DRL only. Okay, select commands. Okay, so now what I told, after inserting a record, we need to use commit, else we cannot view the data in the table. We can view the data in the table in that instant. For example, I have inserted the record into that table, and if you want to see that record, you cannot see until I use commit. Okay, if I use commit, then you can see that record. Okay, that will be the use of commit. If we want to commit any transaction, whatever we do, for that purposes, we need to use commit. So if you say simply in Oracle, so with one user, if one user is doing any changes in the table, like say specifically inserting or updating or deleting the records from the table, without using commit, the other user cannot see that data. Okay. Similarly, rollback. Uh, I inserted one record into table. By default, I inserted, but I don't want that record to exist in that table. So for that purposes, I can use rollback. Okay. Save point is like either you do commit or you do rollback. For that purposes, if you use save point, so at that instant, whatever the operations will do till that, a save point will be created. So if you want to revert back any changes by going to that save point, we can go to that save point and revert all the changes. Okay, and similarly, grant and revoke will be there. It's like more at the DBA level. So this grant and revoke will be handled mostly in all the projects from the DBS. Database administrators will be there. So they will take care of this. So for example, in real scenarios, even sometimes creating table and all those also will be done by the DBS only. So what happens after creating a table? So for example, I create a table for the user Manusha. Okay. And similarly, I created one table for the user Vishal. So the table which is I created for the user Manusha cannot be accessed by Vishal, and the table which I created for Vishal cannot be accessed by Manusha unless if I grant permissions for Vishal to see Manusha's table and for Manusha to see Vishal's table, we cannot see them. Okay, so grant will be used for that purposes. Either we can, for a user, we can grant either a create privilege or a alter privilege or a drop privilege or a rename privilege. Okay, or the insert privilege, update, all these commands. To work all these commands, we need some privileges. If you are not having in privileges, we cannot do all this. We cannot work on these commands. We cannot either create a table, we cannot drop the table, and we cannot rename the table. Okay, we cannot insert record or update record in that table. Okay, so grant will be helpful for that purposes. Okay, we can restrict some users, we can restrict some users to create or drop the tables, and we can restrict some users for inserting and updating the records. Okay, revoke is like, so earlier we have granted any commands or any what to say, some role earlier we have granted and we want to roll back. That means we should make use of the revoke. Okay, so whatever the permissions or the privileges earlier we have given, if you want to roll back them, then by making use of the revoke command we can roll back them. Okay, so yeah, as I told earlier, what we are doing in data warehouse, we are collecting data. Okay, and managing the data in our data warehouse. Okay, for different, we are collecting data from different sources, databases, OLTP systems, and in the data warehouse we'll be accessing the data for different purposes. Okay, as per the business requirement, we'll be seeing the data in data warehouses. Okay, so earlier, so in the diagram earlier I explained, right? So there we have seen what is the OLTP and how we are applying transformations or doing transformation in the staging area, and finally how we are integrating the data into the data warehouse. So this is all related to that. So in data warehouses, we'll be having different data marts. So it's like what will happen is like, so as I told earlier, accounts related info will be there. So that we can call as one data mart. Okay, and then loans department info will be there, that we can call as one data mart. In a single database we'll be having different subsets, that's all. Okay, we can tell like, if we are so in our houses we'll see the shelves, right? So in shelves we'll be having different tracks. Like that, in a single database we'll be having different tracks. So for example, say like users, we'll be creating in our, in SQL technology, both of you are aware of SQL, right? Manusha, you are also aware of SQL, right? Oh, okay. So yeah, so if she's not there, then no need to drag. We'll be going directly to the step. I thought she joined recently. Once, yeah. See, I told right earlier, so we'll be having different sources, okay, of reading data, different sources for reading data. One is the unstructured data in the form of Excel, PDF, or CSV, and then SQL databases, NoSQL databases will be there. So, okay. So all this will be loaded. So will be ETL by with the help of the ETL developers. We are called as ETL developers. Okay. So by making use a developer by making use of the ETL tool will be loading data into the data warehouse. So okay, and after loading data into the data warehouse for doing analysis purpose, we'll be having different reporting tools like Power BI, Tableau, MicroStrategy, Cognos, okay, and Oracle OBA okay, and BI, Power BI, yeah. So all these are used for the analysis purpose. The charts and everything will be saying, right? Those will be prepared by using by with the help of these tools. Okay. And finally, end users in different modes they will be accessing the from the desktop, from the laptop, from the mobiles, and users can access that applications and with the help at the front end and on the back end they can retrieval the data. Okay, somewhere we'll deploy all this. After doing all these changes we'll be deploying the code into live, we'll go as live or the production. So in that we'll be the end users will make use of that data. Okay, finally end user will be seeing data either in the form of the reports only analysis. After doing analysis we'll be having some reports, right? So that end user will be saying, but for the end user to see data in the form of reports on the back end we need to do all this work. Okay, so we have so many ETL tools in market. So one is the Talent, Oracle Data Integrator, IBM Data Stage is there. Okay, Ab Initio, Informatica, these are some famous tools which we are using and we might be aware of. Okay, all these different tools are there. Among them, why we prefer Talent means it's a open studio. So for that we'll be not, we need not to purchase any license. Okay, so that's why we'll use Talent. Okay, coming here, this we will call as the repository. Okay, so this entire open, I'll tell you how to install the Talent. Okay, I'll share all the materials in the coming classes. Okay, how to install Talent, and so how can we create a project in Talent. Earlier if you see, when I am logging into Talent, I clicked on the project name. Okay, so see here it will be showing. So this is my project name I kept. So I am in that project. So after opening the studio, Talent Studio, here we'll be seeing some panes, different panes. We'll call all this is one pane. Okay, repository pane, we'll call as this repository pane, and this will be some outline and code viewer panes. Okay, and this will be the job pane where we create our jobs. Okay, and this will be the run pane. Okay, these all will be there: components, context, run job, all this we'll be discussing in detail in coming classes. And this is the palette. Palette means we'll be having different components in Talent. So all the components will be held in the palette. Okay, so yeah, this is the place where we'll design our jobs actually. In repository, we'll design the jobs. These are the jobs which I already created some. Okay, and similarly for creating the jobs, we need some metadata, right? So these are the DB connections. Okay, and these are the files we are trying to access. Okay, similarly we'll be having if you want to read data from the Excel files, we'll be placing here Excel. Okay, if you want to read XML, we'll be placing here. Okay, if you want to read JSON, we'll be placing here. Okay, like this is just a demo. Okay, of the Talent Open Studio. If I take one job, simple job like mm, let me see this. Okay, here we have so many components. It will be difficult. Yeah, as I told, these are the components. These are some components in Talend. T pre-job, T buffer output, okay, T file output delimited, T buffer input, okay, and T unique row, T sort row, T filter row. Okay, like this, we have around 1,000+ components in Talend. For each database, like for Oracle database, we'll be having some components. For SQL Server, we'll be having some components. Like that, for each database, we'll be having some components. For example, if I type T Oracle here, so see, all the components related to the Oracle database, T Oracle close, T Oracle SCD, T Oracle commit, T Oracle output, T Oracle rollback, T Oracle connection. If we are aware of SQL, then we can easily know what by seeing at the naming terminology itself, we can understand for what purpose we'll be using these components. Okay, the Oracle connection, output bulk execution. Okay, like this, we'll be having so many. Okay. See, all these are DB2 components. IBM DB2 will be there, right? All these are DB2 components. Okay. If we learn for one database, for all the remaining database, the same kind of tech components will be there. Only thing is at the prefix, it will be T Oracle or TDB like that. Okay, TDB2 like that it will be there. Okay, if you are reading files, then T file will be there. All these are file components. Okay, so we'll be knowing about all these in future. If you want to read data from a file, so we'll be using T file input delimited. If you want to load data to a file, then we'll be using T file output delimited. Okay, like that. T file list. If you want to read data from multiple files, then we'll be using T file list. T file copy. If you want to copy data from a file to other file, then T file copy. T file exist. If the file exists or not. If you want to check that whether the file exists in that folder or not, then T file exists. Like this, so many are there. Okay. Let me show you the components which we'll discuss. Yeah. So as I told, these are the components we'll be discussing. Okay. So we have one sheet called Talend course content. So I'll be sharing this, what components we are discussing. Okay. So if you want to survive in the IT market with experience of 4 to 5 years, these are well enough. Okay. These are good enough. If you know all these components, that you can easily survive and you can easily crack the interview. Okay. So these are this is all about the Talend. Okay. Hello. Hello, Navita.
Yes, sir.
I think Vishal got dropped. Okay.
No, no, yes.
Yeah. Hi, Vishal. So when you got dropped now or so when I'm explaining this, you're there, right? Hello.
Hi, sir.
Okay, so yeah, so I think so. I explained all the T file components. So what components we are going to discuss? All those I explained. So you're there, right, at that time? Okay. So these are the components which so in Talend for each operation we'll be having one component. Okay. So if you want to read, if you want to eliminate duplicate records, then we'll be using TUnic row. Okay, if you want to sort the data, then we'll be using T sort row component. And if you want to filter the data, then we'll be using t-filter row components. Okay, if you want to filter columns, for example, in source, I have 20 columns and I don't want to read data from all the 20 columns means, then we can use t-filter columns. If I type t-filter here, see here it is showing t-filter columns. Okay, like this, Talent will understand everything in the form of the components only. Okay, so we'll be having t buffer input, okay, t buffer output, t hash input, t hash output. Okay, see here we have see t file list, t sleep, t loop, t send mail, t replicate, t filter columns, t convert type. All these components around, we have 1,000+ components in Talent, and for each database, for Oracle database, we have some components. Earlier I have shown here, right? T Oracle. All these components are related to Oracle database. Okay. Similarly, IBM DB2 is there. So if you want to see those components, then all these are DB2 components. Okay. And the file, if you are reading data from the file, then if these are the components related to the file. Okay, if you are accessing data from the file, these are some components related to the file. Okay, so all these we'll be discussing in the coming classes. Okay, here is the list. I will be providing that to you. Okay, and I will be sharing the material. Okay, and I will be helping in how to install or configure the Talent in your machine. Okay, installation process and everything I will explain. So we'll be these are the this file is about the components, what components we are going to discuss, okay, and what are the contents we are going to cover in the Talent. All this will be there in this file. Okay, and so how to install and all those installation notes and everything I will be sharing. So here we'll be having the installation notes. So step by step I will be explaining everything, how to install the Talent. Okay, whatever we need, including Oracle database if you are not having, how to configure the Oracle database, everything I will explain. Okay. Okay, to interact with the Oracle database, we need SQL developer. Okay, that SQL developer, how to configure that, everything I will be explaining. Okay, and at the end, I will be so some in the interim I will be giving some tasks. Okay, so for example, today if I discussed about 4 to 5 components, uh, tomorrow I will be giving some tasks on that, and you may need to work on them. Okay, and finally in the end we'll be discussing one project. Okay, in that project we'll become seeing like in a real-time scenario what kind of work we'll be doing, everything will be there in that. Okay, so this is all about the demo. So any doubts you have, Vishal, or anything you want to discuss?
No, sir.
Okay. So yeah, we'll meet tomorrow, 7.
Okay.
Okay, Navita, I'm done.
Okay, sir. I will get back to you and to Vishal too. And
Okay.
we'll meet tomorrow, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.